Community reactions, everyone's very happy. Good, I was happy. That means I get to be a part of everyone, meaning I'm a human. Great.
We found belonging.
Yay.
Hang on, that doesn't look happy. That looks like rage. To be fair, that's Warcraft logs. I can understand them going, oh no, buffs. I don't want those.
Oh no.
Yep, here we go.
Mad.
What?
I didn't get that was sarcasm.
Did you not really? Did you not get that? From
Well, I don't give a rat's ass about any of your parses, and I think that Power Infusion is fundamentally good cooperative game design.
Yeah, so here we have an interesting problem, because if not for augmentation happening in Season 2, this wouldn't even be a conversation.
No, Oracle sounds, this is from Max, so bad I'm not even turbo dooming. The support just sounds horrible. It was playing extremely weak. There we go. It's ruined. It's over. Over. It's the end.
Yeah, I
mean, there's definitely I'll say I think Premonition is fairly cool. I think that in a 1 minute cooldown is like a fun little gameplay loop.
Yeah, that's literally a fun spell and literally a fun little game of how much gold can you ask people to give you to make sure you get premonition all the time.
That's definitely it.
I mean,
certainly looking through some of the little, the other sort of minor talents, there's some pretty boring stuff.
Yeah, a lot of this is kind of one main thing and then some slightly boring things, because you can't have cool things all the time. Because
another dumbass spell will not only completely randomize my damage, but also takes whatever remaining enjoyment there was in trying to improve.
So this is where you get into the problem of my performance no longer matters, log can't track anything. Why even try when I can simply proc 10% more damage done? Video games. Welcome to video games.
Yeah.
Where I think chasing parses is completely valid as a form of gameplay, but to enable that by removing randomness kind of ruins the whole thing. Let's look at how tightly designed FF14 sort of high-end Savage, sometimes Ultimates are, where crit variance is a conversation, and everyone's going, please remove crit. Please remove direct hit.
Don't remove
Please
crit.
remove direct crits.
Don't remove crit.
Because one of the problems is if your big ability doesn't crit, doesn't direct crit, then your parse will literally be worse, which, for a parse perspective, sure, that's out of game. But I've literally seen people complain who are like, to be fair, these are like people who are pushing like Savage at the lowest gear possible to try and get it done quick. And they're like, sometimes we've beat the fight, sometimes we don't. It's crit variance. We've looked at the logs. It's crit variance. That's the problem. Someone gets 20% crit, it's fine. Someone gets 18% crit and doesn't crit their biggest hits. It's just over, we lose. Sorry, we don't get timings, we don't get enough damage. And that's like a bit of a balance issue. But yeah, I think that the developers should not be afraid of putting in random elements and RNG and the procs and things like that to have an extremely tiny amount of people who are looking for the ability to micro manage and micro improve week on week to this degree, because I think
to this degree again, concept,
to this degree is the point.
Dose equal, the dose makes the poison.
Yeah, I'm not interested in, and this is something I wanted to talk about a little bit, maybe this week, maybe another point, about how Mythic is such a fucking pain in the ass that I can't ever imagine wanting to do it.
Do people want PI to be removed from the game?
Certain people do.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
because
obviously
it's a cool spell, and fundamentally, if you have that problem, like, you're almost statistically irrelevant.
Yeah, like we've had this conversation when Ian talked about PI and going, no, we're making game 1, not game 2, and I think that's the same case.
Yeah, it's like if you want to take a thing that is just slurping all of your data, slurping it out and then throwing it onto a website, and now you're going to do all your fucking logs. Like, it's a game. And it's a game. It's not a perfectly balanced sport.
You're not playing chess.
Do you remember whenever Blizzard removed, they tried to do the stat template thing?
Yeah.
And it kind of backfired on them because it turns out people in an RPG just want to get more gear and actually have some unfair fights, because having an unfair fight and crushing some fucking noob is actually a part of it. You know the way people talk about like skill-based matchmaking in FPSs? It's because actually one of the rewards for, you know, being pretty fucking good at the game is you got to go into a match, kill 60 people, die twice, and feel like a fucking god.
Yeah. There's certainly a case of don't hyper optimize the fun out of your video game.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Stop doing that, because everything it does that turns it into nightmarishly boring sludge. Because then you meet like you can. Yeah, I don't want to talk about taking things to logical extremes, because it's kind of a just kind of false equivalence. But you can take things to logical extremes and go, well, why have crit? Why have stats? Why have randomness at all? Because there's certainly an awful lot of actual randomness in the game already.
Yeah.
To the point where I kind of get mad whenever I was playing Balance, and I'd have my Primordial Arcanic Pulsar would come up at different times because I had different procs on how much AP I got. And I would just be like, I'm getting to this phase without being 2 Star Surges off my proc. I hate this game. My parse is bad. Like, now I think back to that and go, damn. Why did I not turn off my damage meter? Why did I not turn off my damage meter and have fun instead? Which is kind of a little bit of the struggle, where maybe it's because the core game isn't fun enough, and this is where they're getting fun on top of it. But there's clearly a case of, man, we are... Certainly there's an extreme on every end, where we've obviously seen like the more aesthetic people be like, well, these should have been class skins. Gameplay affecting stuff, burn it. And then I've got other people who are gameplay oriented going, gameplay oriented things, burn it. Burn it. I want my complete game. I want my complete game with as little random as possible, because obviously, as Frank's saying,
fucking go proc an aneurysm.
My
That's maybe a bit
Jesus.
much. Can't say it though, because
you can say
multiple would die to that. So
yeah. No, you can say that because you're.
It's also fucking funny.
You're allowed to say things.
Yeah, if PI is a massive problem, fucking eat my dick and get a life.
You're not allowed to say that.
You're
not allowed to say that one, because that one's you're not allowed to say that one. You can say other things, but not that one. Sorry. Yeah. So.
Oh no! There's cooperative gameplay in an MMO. No.
There's certainly if it's going to matter to more people, do it, please. Like, please. And because even I think I don't know. I'm trying to think of this from like my perspective. Like, I would like to play M+. No, sorry, no, wouldn't. I'd like to play Mythic Rating for the rewards from Mythic Rating. And then I'm like, man, this shit's too much. Mythic Rating's too intense. 20 people hyper optimizing all this shit. I don't get it. Buds Not Die. I wish Heroic was harder.
Yeah, I think.
I was actually, yes. Of the Reigns of Numerlos.
Emir Drasil Heroic, too easy. Yeah. Aberus Heroic, too easy. Vault Heroic, good.
Vault Heroic is perfect.
But numbers.
What about them?
Yeah, numbers.
Oh yeah, easy game, easy life. Shit, that's right.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, they got better and better numbers as they went into. Oh my god, words. Sorry, I got distracted by the echo thing, which I'm genuinely confused about, because like literally nothing has changed since last week at all.
Yeah, well, if don't talk for 2 seconds, I'll do magic.
Oh my god. Well, Matt's going to be doing some magic. I suppose it's just that thing. I would rather. I think World of Warcraft will be better if they try to design a good game instead of sitting there trying to appease people who are complaining on Twitter. Fundamentally, now there's a degree of that that's like, yes, you should listen to people's feedback and you should take it in, but just because it's feedback doesn't mean it's right. It means it's feedback. It means that person feels something. But the loudest people are not necessarily the ones to listen to. I suppose it's just,
but sometimes they can be, which is really frustrating, because they lead things like that. I guess
Blizzard, just take these things from first principles, and to be credit to them, PI still in the game, and they've made a version of it that's made everyone even more angry.
Okay, I'm going to hand this to you. You can talk into this while I turn your mic off and on.
So this is going to be really awkward because whenever I do this, it's then going to switch the screen over to Matt.
Hello, it's me over here. So I've learned something in my many years of being alive, unfortunately. I hate learning. Computers are bastards. If you just plug things in and out, they'll probably fix themselves.
Sometimes.
So let me know if that's any better. And if it isn't, I'll do something else. But that might be also a little bit improved for now. So there is something to be said for like the silent minority and vocal majority and stuff. You're right, Bulvar. I don't really know what to say about it outside of, oh my god, this is also known as the Rich Evans screws up your audio setup effect. Exactly, 100%.
Just make more things like PI.
So here's
drive them out.
Here's the truth of it, right?
I just enjoy being a heel.
Yeah. There's a way to fix-ish this, which is if you make it so unbelievably bullshit, if you make it so horseshit that it's completely fine, and they can't, this is worse. I didn't change anything. That's right, I focus the whole time. Cool. How is this any different?
Huh?
How is this any different? How
why.
does this sound worse or better? I don't get it. Technology. What was I saying? Yeah, if you make things so complicated and random that people can't actually parse Lord, then probably fine. That's probably the fix. But then you don't want to throw off balance, which is the problem when you hyper optimize. And this is where you get into this horrendous problem of having to balance things. Like, damn. This is just tough, I think.
Well, it's one of the problems with parse fiending.
Yeah.
Because they're not like the design intent of World of Warcraft is not for you to get a top parse. It's for you to, overcome a challenge and kill the boss. Like that's actually the design. The parse stuff is like made up by players, which is like one thing. Now, by the way, I was always I want to have my DPS meter on. I want to do the most DPS. But whenever you're at that stage where, you are clearly way, way beyond the bounds of the developer's intent, the game's rewards, all of these things. You gotta say, I've purposefully went into uncharted territory for my own enjoyment, and that's what you've done. That's there. You've overtly, taken the game in a direction that is, not the one that that's been fucking designed. It's like, yeah, you went off piste. Congratulations. There's going to be some things that are a bit weird. And you're also trying to push this like way, 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 way to its limits. At the end of the day, whether somebody puts a buff in you or not, that doesn't impact how well you play. The only person you've really got to compete with is you in the past. Did you stand in less fire? Did you have better timings? Did you have better movement? Who gives a fucking rat's ass about the number? The bit is like you actually playing the game.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what the kind of problem that Frank points up is like, my performance no longer matters, logs can't track, why try? Like, why try before?
Sorry,
randomness?
I'm afraid I'm just going to everybody, Max, Frank, Flex, Nogia. I'm just a million times more base than any of you. Try harder, losers.
You can't call yourself base. That's not how it works.
No.
That is only determination other people can give you externally.
No. Go find bigger problems.
Yeah, there's... I'm trying to think of anything to add because
like, congratulations, you're playing World of Warcraft as an esport. You only have yourself to blame.
There's a little bit of that where I think there's back
in the day was theory crafting, to be a bit more competitive or kill the boss faster. But not this ridiculous shit.
Yeah, there's a desire for completeness that I think comes across as pure cope and desire for control. Where I can understand it when you're theoretically, I can understand it if you're esportsy, because if you're coming from Max's perspective, or if Scripe had weighed in the same perspective, or any of these mythic raiders, they have a lot on the line, both literally as their literal day jobs and careers, and also their egos, stuff like that. You want enough skill expression to be the best.
Yeah, of course.
But the problem is that,
Had that in spades for ages.
yeah, and it still does. It's just that everyone is so hyper optimized that the they're bumping into the skill ceiling, and the randomness matters up there, whereas the randomness doesn't matter below the skill ceiling, because there's that you can make up for the extra 10% someone else will have by literally being good, or over the aggregate of time. Because am I going to bring up Blue Archive PvP? Yes, I am. No, that's horrible random bullshit, and I hate it. But at the same time, every time I'm like beating people higher than my level, I'm like, oh, my team's good as fuck. Sometimes I lose, but it's random. So it's like the aggregate. It's over time. What matters is the kind of thing. And I don't know if like the point is it's the kind of over aggregate that matters. It's not the don't vie for complete and utter control, I guess. Because then it's
no, it's
boring.
just have it. No, it's just
no. I know the analogy.
Oh,
it just becomes dive kick. You're going to turn World of Warcraft into dive kick, and no one's going to get what I'm talking about. Dive kick is a video game in which you can only dive kick. It was a fighting game that was designed specifically from the perspective of, okay, what if we reduce footsies to its bare minimum? You can move up and back, and you can dive kick forward. That's it. One touch, it's over. And it was almost all of like the skill expression in all the video games or all fighting games removed. Do you want a combo? No, fuck it, dive kick. And that was, everyone's like, this is it. This is fighting games at its purest. It's just down to this. It's one single element. And I think people would argue themselves into the position of wanting dive kick World of Warcraft, because they keep going to the logical extreme over and over and over again. Or like, no. Because one of the things that people have talked about in fighting games specifically is how like some games have removed the skill expression in different angles of combos and things like that. Like some of the Street Fighters got a little bit more simplified in like Street Fighter 5 for a bit from 4, and then they go to 6. You're like, now I'm like drive rushing and cancelling and stuff. Okay, that's kind of interesting. People are looking at like Under-Night In-Birth combos going, my sweet Jesus Christ, what has happened here? People are like picking up Tekken 8 and going, what do you mean I have to understand 200 moves that my character can do and also 200 moves of what every other character can do so I know how to dodge them and block them? What the fuck are you talking about? And everyone's like, no, this is good actually. And we're almost getting into this crazy like resurgence of people wanting the most like wide expression of skill and stuff, as opposed to boiling it down to simplest things and guaranteed results all the time. And it's like the broadening of things is more important. I think the experience overall, where people want some bullshit. People are moving back into the era of wanting some bullshit. It's just wow, esports is like esports a little bit different.
I think in this case, it's just like have some like self-awareness.
Yeah. Everyone wants some bullshit.
Like a lot of that just seems profoundly like unself-aware to take that as being such a big problem. Like I genuinely, like I cognitively get it. Mm-hmm. I just really struggle to imagine giving that much of a shit.
I mean, I can imagine it. Because I've given a lot of shit about things all the time.
Okay, but I know that the version of me in the past that would have given a shit about that, so much like fucking way less happy.
Well, yeah, none of these people are happy, you moron.
Of course not.
They're playing World of Warcraft at a high level.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Happiness has nothing to do with it. It's about feeling just satisfied enough to not have a mental breakdown. That's the vast majority of life, especially for World of Warcraft players.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Like none of these people are happy. Have you seen them play the game? They are
seen their UIs.
They are chasing a high that sometimes comes if they can win. That's it, I guess. That's it. Because they're sure as fuck not happy. They're flooding their brain. Well, I mean, they're flooding the brains with the right chemicals. The only people who are happy are half of Echo, because they're just good and don't give a shit. A lot of the time.
Great.
It's kind of weird.
I cannot wait until someone tries to start Twitter beef. We have been insensitive to the Mythic Raiders, Matt. I can't believe it.
There'd be no point. There'd be no point. It's like, There's nothing anyone could say to me about World of Warcraft that I wouldn't just be able to go.
Just like Ilamau.
Yeah. Like,
Moving on.
Yeah, it's like cool. Yeah.
You're like, nope. I'm going to swipe off this app because I have dailies to do in Blue Archive.
Yeah, exactly. I have to go get mad that my big damage nuke was dropped randomly on the tanks into the backline of Blue Archive, and then close the app and go, well, there you go.